Revising and editing are the two tasks you undertake to significantly improve your essay. Both are very important elements of the writing process. You may think that a completed first draft means little improvement is needed. However, even experienced writers need to improve their drafts and rely on peers during revising and editing. You may know that dancers forget steps, turn too slowly, or miss beats. For dancers, the more they practice, the stronger their performance will become. Writing has the same capacity to profit from improvement and revision. Revising and editing allow you to examine two important aspects of your writing separately, so that you can give each task your undivided attention. When you revise, you take a second look at your ideas. You might add, cut, move, or change information in order to make your ideas clearer, more accurate, more interesting, or more convincing. When you edit, you take a second look at how you express your ideas. You add or change words. You fix any problems in grammar, punctuation, and sentence structure. You improve your writing style. You make your essay into a polished, mature piece of writing, the end product of your best efforts. Here are some strategies that writers have developed to look at their first drafts from a fresh perspective. Try them over the course, then keep using the ones that bring results. First, take a break. You are proud of what you wrote, but you might be too close to it to make changes. So, set aside your writing for a few hours or even a day until you can look at it objectively. Second, ask someone you trust for feedback and constructive criticism. Third, pretend you are one of your readers. Ask yourself if you are satisfied or dissatisfied. Why? After working so closely with a piece of writing, writers often need to step back and ask for a more objective reader. What writers most need is feedback from readers who can respond only to the words on the page. When they are ready, writers show their drafts to someone they respect and who can give an honest response about its strengths and weaknesses. You too can ask a peer to read your draft when it is ready. After evaluating the feedback and assessing what is most helpful, the reader's feedback will help you when you revise your draft. This process is called peer review. You can work with a partner in your class and identify specific ways to strengthen each other's essays. Although you might be uncomfortable sharing your writing at first, remember that each writer is working toward the same goal, a final draft that fits the audience and the purpose. Maintaining a positive attitude while providing feedback will put you and your partner at ease. The box that follows provides a useful framework for the peer review session. The purpose of peer feedback is to receive constructive criticism of your essay. Your peer reviewer is your first real audience, and you have the opportunity to learn what confuses and delights a reader, so that you can improve your work before sharing the final draft with a wider audience or your intended audience. It may not be necessary to incorporate every recommendation your peer reviewer makes. However, if you start to observe a pattern in the responses you receive from peer reviewers, you might want to take that feedback into consideration in future assignments. For example, if you read consistent comments about a need for more research, then you may want to consider including more research in future assignments. You may get feedback from more than one reader as you share different stages of your revised draft. In this situation, you may receive feedback from readers who do not understand the assignment or who lack your involvement with and enthusiasm for it. You need to evaluate the responses you receive according to two important criteria. First, determine if the feedback supports the purpose of the assignment. Second, determine if the suggested revisions are appropriate to the audience. Some writers are very methodical and painstaking when they write a first draft. Other writers unleash a lot of words in order to get out all that they feel they need to say. Do either of these composing styles match your style, or is your composing style somewhere in between? No matter which description best fits you, the first draft of almost every piece of writing, no matter its author, can be made clearer or more concise. If you have a tendency to write too much, you will need to look for unnecessary words. If you have a tendency to be vague or imprecise in your wording, you will need to find specific words to replace any overly general language. Identifying wordiness. Sometimes writers use too many words when fewer words will appeal more to their audience and better fit their purpose. Here are some common examples of wordiness to look for in your draft. Eliminating wordiness helps all readers because it makes your ideas clear, direct, and straightforward.
Sentences that begin with there is or there are. Wordy. There are two major experiments that the biology department sponsors. Revised. The biology department sponsors two major experiments. Sentences with unnecessary modifiers. Wordy. Two extremely famous and well-known consumer advocates spoke eloquently in favor of the proposed important legislation. Revised. Two well-known consumer advocates spoke in favor of the proposed legislation. Sentences with deadwood phrases that add little to the meaning. Be judicious when you use phrases such as in terms of, with a mind to, on the subject of, as to whether or not, more or less. As far as is concerned, and similar expressions. You can usually find a more straightforward way to state your point. Wordy. As a world leader in the field of green technology, the company plans to focus its efforts in the area of geothermal energy. A report as to whether or not to use geysers as an energy source is in the process of preparation. Revise. As a world leader in green technology, the company plans to focus on geothermal energy. A report about using geysers as an energy source is in preparation. Sentences in the passive voice or with forms of the verb to be. Sentences with passive voice verbs often create confusion, because the subject of the sentence does not perform an action. Sentences are clearer when the subject of the sentence performs the action and is followed by a strong verb. Use strong active voice verbs in place of forms of to be, which can lead to wordiness. Avoid passive voice when you can. Wordy. It might perhaps be said that using a GPS device is something that is a benefit to drivers who have a poor sense of direction. Revise. Using a GPS device benefits drivers who have a poor sense of direction. Sentences with constructions that can be shortened. Wordy. The e-book reader, which is a recent invention, may become as commonplace as the cell phone. My over 60 uncle bought an e-book reader. And his wife bought an e-book reader, too. Revised. The e-book reader, a recent invention, may become as commonplace as the cell phone. My over 60 uncle and his wife both bought e-book readers.
Most college essays should be written in formal English, suitable for an academic situation. Follow these principles to be sure that your word choice is appropriate.
Find alternatives to bummer, cool, and rad. Write about men and women, rather than girls and guys, unless you are trying to create a specific effect. A formal tone calls for formal language. Use do not in place of don't, I am in place of I'm, have not in place of haven't, and so on. Contractions are considered casual speech. Overused expressions such as green with envy, face the music, better late than never, and similar expressions are empty of meaning and may not appeal to your audience. Some examples are illusion, illusion, complement, compliment, counsel, counsel, concurrent, consecutive, founder, flounder, and historic, historical. When in doubt, check a dictionary. Choosing a word for its connotations is as important in formal essay writing as it is in all kinds of writing. Compare the positive connotations of the word proud and the negative connotations of arrogant and conceited. Find synonyms for thing, people, nice, good, bad, interesting, and other vague words. Or use specific details to make your exact meaning clear.
Many people hear the words critic, critical, and criticism, and pick up only negative vibes that provoke feelings that make them blush, grumble, or shout. However, as a writer and a thinker, you need to learn to be critical of yourself in a positive way and have high expectations for your work. You also need to train your eye and trust your ability to fix what needs fixing. For this, you need to teach yourself where to look. Having a critical eye means having the ability to look at how something works and whether it could work better, without getting emotional or attached to the object of that critical examination. Cultivating the skill of objective criticism will serve you well as a writer and student. When you reread your writing to find revisions to make, look for each type of problem in a separate sweep. Read it straight through once to locate any problems with unity. Read it straight through a second time to find problems with coherence. You may follow this same practice during many stages of the writing process.
Hey everybody! Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you can learn more about English composition. If this is your first time here, don't forget to click the red subscribe button. And please give me a thumbs up if this video helps you with your English writing skills. Have some free time? Why don't you watch another English lesson and share it with your friends?